My name's Kynan Tan. I'm a artist working between a few different media, so mix between sound, audio-visual works, and the 3D printed sculptures at the moment, and that's what's featured in this exhibition, which is called Perspectives Macro. So I'm looking to find different network simulations and different data relating to networks and then translate them into different formats. And then from that, I've built this sort of constellation of video and sound materials as well as the sculptural materials that all sort of tie in to that concept. And so in these sculptures, I'm using sleeping brain activity data, and then I'm manipulating that and converting it directly into 3D models. And that same data is also used in the audio and video material, as well as a few other data sets relating to transport network data and simulations of like bird flocking algorithms and that kind of thing as well. Yeah, working with a 3D printer is great. Like, the original concept for getting it and starting to work with it was to be able to do what I'm doing with data translating into sound and video, but to be able to do that creating actual 3D shapes. And that sort of immediate response has been fantastic. But the actual machinery itself was quite difficult to use. So even though I bought one that was supposedly working out of the box, it inevitably failed in certain senses, and some of the parts needed to be tuned up or replaced, or needed to add a little bit of oil or something to the plastic to get it to work properly. But in addition to that, I just found a few particular things that the 3D printer did in combination with the software that made these models look more like structural models, in that it put in scaffolding, and as a sort of error from the printing process, it would put in this sort of webbing around the structure where it wasn't able to print quite the quite fine detail that was required. So some of the thread would be remaining and be carried on to the next printing part. I'm originally a musician, but when I started working more with visual means, I really tried to make it a priority to create the sound and the vision at the same time. So when I'm working on a project like this, I'm constructing a bit of visual and then making sound to go with it, or vice versa, making some sound and then making the visual to go with it. And then sometimes feeding the sound into the video to create new video material, or vice versa. So they're like really closely linked, and at the core, I want them to be sort of inseparable in a way. That's right. So one upgrade I need to do for mine is to print off a part which will replace a part that's already in it, but I haven't got around to doing that yet. I think it's still pretty far away, like at least a few years. It's not right around the corner. I think people underestimate the amount of skill and time and effort it requires to make the 3D models that are associated with it. So people think that in your house, if something's broken, you just print it out and fix it. But actually, to do that, it would take a bit of skill using 3D modeling software. And I'm like kind of excited, but also kind of terrified by the idea of 3D printing food, because people have mentioned that as a big future possibility, but I'm not sure that will really achieve very much. Like, I'm not sure that putting food in certain shapes would really make any real difference. But it could be interesting.